Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is the complete review of the Vivo V20 SE. Now this phone is available in India only in one variant. It's priced at 21,000 rupees and it comes with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. It's available in two colors, Gravity Black and Aquamarine Green, and we have the Gravity Black color. Now I've already posted the unboxing video, so check that out for the complete specifications, unboxing experience and initial impressions. Now with that said, I'll directly dive into the review with the design and build. Now this is how the phone looks on the back and this is how the phone looks on the front. On the back, this phone has a plastic back panel with a super glossy finish with a two-tone gradient color, that's graphite black, where the color actually varies from metallic silver to metallic blue. At least that's how I call it. Anyway, this is how the coloring looks like, and it has a mirror finish, so it is super reflective, and also a fingerprint magnet. Even though it looks super pretty, without a case it's definitely high maintenance. It easily attracts smudges. Now with that said, the overall design of the phone is pretty good. On the back you have a pretty new camera design. Even though it doesn't look similar to Vivo V20, it has a newer design and the camera bump is also pretty small, and the phone also has a 3D curve on the back, so when you hold the phone in hand, it kind of feels sleek. Now with that said, this phone has a thickness of 7.83 mm. In hand, it feels kinda sleek, especially because of that curved corners. And as for the weight, it feels light, but at the same time it has a bit of weight to it. It may sound confusing, but yes, it's lightweight but not too light either. As for the buttons, we have the power and volume buttons on the right side. They have a nice clicky feel to them and they are sufficiently elevated. Overall, phone feels pretty good to hold in hand. In fact, you can use this phone single-handedly if you have bigger hands like mine. At least for important stuff like answering calls, you can do it single-handedly without any issues. Now in the hardware department, this phone comes with all the basic sensors, literally nothing's missing. This phone also has FM radio, Bluetooth 5.0. It also supports 5 GHz Wi-Fi bandwidth. This is the SIM card tray. It supports dual SIM and also has a dedicated SD card slot. So if you need extra storage, we can always pop in an SD card. As for the haptic engine on this phone, it is pretty decent. It's slightly on the stronger side, doesn't feel too soft, that's something that I like. And most importantly, it doesn't feel like a cheap product. As for the biometrics, this phone has an in-display fingerprint scanner inside that AMOLED display and it is super fast. It just takes a split second to unlock the phone. Overall, it's pretty reliable and definitely usable. We also have the face unlock feature, and once again in good lighting conditions, it is super fast just like the fingerprint scanner. It's almost instantaneous. You just need to light up your phone. Front camera sees your face and then immediately unlocks the phone. Even in low lighting conditions, it works, it is pretty fast and automatically increases the screen brightness to see your face properly. In complete darkness, it still works, but it is kinda slow. It takes like a second or two to unlock the phone. Finally, even the auto brightness sensor on this phone works pretty well. So overall in the hardware department, there are no cons for this phone. Now for the display, you get a 6.44-inch AMOLED display with Full HD Plus resolution. Vivo calls it the full view display. It has a screen to body ratio of 90.12%. As it's an AMOLED display, brightness levels are great, color reproduction is pretty good, slightly on the saturated side. Even the sharpness of the display is pretty good, whether it's for regular usage like watching videos or reading text on a website. By the way, this phone also has Wideband L1 certification, so you can watch high definition videos on Amazon Prime and Netflix. Overall, it is definitely one of the best displays out there. Now for the cameras, I've already posted a dedicated camera review, so you can check that out for complete information, but here's a quick gist. On the rear, this phone has a triple camera setup with a 48 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and finally a 2 megapixel macro camera. For selfies, it has a 32 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture. Now the cameras on this phone, both the front and rear cameras, are pretty good. Mainly for selfies, color reproduction is pretty close to accurate colors, dynamic range and exposure control is also pretty good, and the skin tones actually look natural. There's no over processing. As for the rear camera, once again color reproduction is pretty good, dynamic range and exposure control are also pretty good. Even the wide angle camera takes pretty good pictures, but colors are slightly to the saturated side. As for video recording, here's a sample recorded in 1080p resolution. Video footage is pretty good, it offers electronic image stabilization, exposure control and dynamic range is pretty good. We can also record video in 4K resolution, but there's no stabilization. so the footage looks pretty shaky. Besides that, 4K footage also looks slightly more overexposed when compared to the 1080p footage. Now this is a sample recorded using the front-facing camera, and the footage from the front camera is surprisingly pretty good. So overall, cameras on this phone are pretty good and definitely worth the price. Now for the software department, this phone is running FunTouch OS 11 based on Android 10. As of now, it has a September 1st security patch. It will be getting the latest Android 11 update pretty soon, and it will also be getting regular security updates as well. With the latest FunTouch OS, user interface has been changed a lot. We got the regular notification toggles at the top and control center is completely gone. Now we also have an app drawer and all the regular Android features like dark mode and navigation gestures. Besides the new stuff, we still have all the cool features from the previous FunTouch OS. So in terms of features, this phone is definitely loaded with a lot of cool stuff. As for memory management, it is pretty good. While using the phone, it keeps most of the apps in memory, but once you lock your phone and keep it aside, most of the applications are killed automatically. That's a regular thing with all Vivo phones or with FunTouch OS to improve your battery life. Overall, I don't have any complaints in the software department. Everything is pretty smooth. Memory management is also good. At the end of the day, it's all about your personal preference. Now when it comes to performance, this phone supports a Snapdragon 665 processor with Adreno 610 GPU with 8GB of RAM. Even though Snapdragon 665 is slightly an older processor, it's still pretty powerful and can handle any task that you throw at it. By the way, these are the benchmark scores. For regular usage, whether it's for browsing, watching videos, or using social media applications, there was no lag whatsoever. As for gaming performance, you can play all the high-end games without major issues, and because of the AMOLED display, gaming experience is pretty good. Colors look pretty vibrant and visuals also look pretty good. I've already made a dedicated gaming review. You can check that out for complete information. As for heating issues, I played games continuously for 15 minutes on this phone and maximum temperature reached was 42 degrees. In my heat test, where I take pictures continuously for 3 minutes, phone reached a maximum temperature of 43 degrees. Even then, phone felt slightly warm, but that's it. No major heating issues. And even after performing the heat test, I've tried to use the phone and there was no throttling either. So overall, performance of this phone is pretty good and there are no heating issues with this phone. Now for the audio department, this phone has a mono speaker at the bottom and this is how it sounds. Speaker loudness is pretty good. It's good enough for regular media consumption, ringtones and alarms. By the way, we don't have any kind of sound enhancement like Dolby or DTS. Now as for audio experience over headset, even that is pretty good. Now for the battery department, this phone has a 4100 mAh battery, supports fast charging and comes with a 33 watt flash charger inside the box. You can get up to 60% of charge in just 30 minutes and you can completely charge your phone in almost 1 hour. As for battery life, I got about 6 to 7 hours of screen on time without any kind of gaming. Even if you play games a little, battery life shouldn't be affected too much. For example, in my gaming review, I played games continuously for about 15 minutes and phone used about 5% of battery, which is a pretty decent number. So overall, battery life of this phone is pretty good and especially the charging speeds are super fast. So guys, to conclude, Vivo V20 SE is definitely a pretty good phone with good cameras, great battery life and super fast charging speeds. It's definitely worth the price, especially if you take a lot of selfies. Now if you want my suggestion, I'll suggest you to get the Vivo V20 instead. Both phones are pretty similar, but comparatively Vivo V20 definitely has a much better processor, better cameras and even the overall design and build is much more premium than the V20 SE. So for a bit of extra price, you're getting a lot of good things. So if possible, get the Vivo V20 or else even this phone is pretty good. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.